services, right? So by providing a quality, innovative products and services, they are able to expand their market, not only on the usual boundaries, but they can go beyond the boundaries, right? So this is why, this is why organizations are now looking to become agile organizations. And finally, the last imitation, right? So having market information, you are able to create barriers so that competitors is finding their way is very difficult to imitate whatever product and services that you are offered, right? And then this is something that I quote from Sambamurthy, and I think it's very relevant to this study. This is in 2003, right? So this I quote from the articles that they published in 2003. It says that agility is vital to the innovation and competitive performance of firms in contemporary business environment, right? So this is 2003. I think this is where the revolutions of electronic commerce started, right? So in somewhere in early 2000, and then at this point, agility or Sambamurthy has highlighted these concepts because he knows that whenever contemporary, that time contemporary in 2003 is how organizations are utilizing IT, right? And then he predicted or he anticipated that organizations during that time and forwards are going to increase, are going to rely on information technology. This is by including the process of the IT, the knowledge that resides within the technologies, and how data and information should be communicated through technologies, right? So it says that all these are going to become the antecedents for the agility of the organizations, right? And since then, those research that is based on IT and information systems are started to associate associate IT and organizational agility in their research. Prior to that, organizational agility is only popular in the manufacturing research, in supply chain research, and so on. But since Sambamurthy, people started to associate information technology capabilities with the organizational agility as well. Right, so why do information technology important for organizational agility? Is because information technology could facilitate the increasing of the organizational agility by providing a real-time, consistent, comprehensive, and high-quality information, right? That at the end of the day are going to enable them to have a practical decision-making that related to their business settings and so on, right? So in other words, IT applications is important because by having IT, they can improve the use of data, ranging from the simple analysis, the sales analysis, business analysis, to more advanced analytics like big data analytics, business intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning, and so on, that going to facilitate the significant business decision making, right? So by understanding the patterns, understanding the behaviors of the consumers, that they can come out with something innovative in terms of product and services as well, right? So based on this, we can say that organizational agility is centered on the proactive use of the organization information resources, right? For example, information systems that include the information system as a whole, that includes the databases, the integrated applications within the organizations, the cloud storage, and any emerging new technologies that can boost the performance of the organization, especially in capturing data and then responding to the data, and then produce something good out of the data as well. And then, as I said, access to critical information and information resource will enable agility because by having access to this kind of resources, it will help the organization to evoke productivity, to improve customers' operations and also service quality. And then by having agility or access to the critical information will allow organization to learn more about their customers and competitors so that they can recognize the opportunities and threats externally and do something about it. And then it also helps to make a customer-related decisions with the up-to-the-minute data, right? So they can have all the data, right, and use the data without worrying about the data is being manipulated, being hijacked, and so on, right? So this is important because they wanted to use this kind of critical data in order to understand the behaviors, the pattern that can be aligned with the business objective and the strategies of the business as well. All right, so since IT and organizational agility has a very strong relationships, right? We can see that the applications of IT to boost business performance has increased, and this is manifested by the great investments and the emerging technology, in the new technology, in the edgy kind of technology in today's organization, this contemporary business organization. And then this is also highlighted in latest, I'm taking the latest report from IDC 2020. It says that the worldwide ICT spending is reaching 4.3 trillion, expected to reach 4.3 trillion USD in 2020, right? So you imagine how huge the investment on this kind of technology. But however, at the same time, the introductions of the advanced technology in business could also cause some issues, right? Especially from my perspective, I'm looking at the information and cybersecurity issues that arises all together, that increase together with the investments of IT, right? So if you can see in one report, the cost of cyber-related crime in business costs worldwide almost $2 trillion, right? So this is a huge, right? This is a very huge. Right? It is actually telling that the more sophisticated the technology is, the more advanced the technology is, the more sophisticated the cyber threats are growing as well, right? So makin maju, makin sama, the advance of the technology is actually introduce, the advanced security threats also to the information technology and information systems, especially in business, right? So in this case, we think that the business enablement through information technology and digital platform will require additional approach. And to us, this additional approach must be able to effectively protect the information system, so that the ideas that organizational agility is relying on the information of the organization can be established, right? So for that reason, I'm going to introduce to you the information security, right? So this is a very brief introduction. I'm going to make the relationships later on. All right, so information security, security on top of agility and organizational agility entails the needs of ensuring protections of information, data, and assets considered to be of value to the organization. Right? In this case, organization, if they wanted to become agile, they want to have agile characteristics, they need to first ensure that their information systems, information assets, information resource are resilient against internal and also external threats, right? And then in this case, the capabilities in protecting information systems and information assets that resides in the organization is very vital for organization to establish or to become highly agile organizations. So this is the abstraction of, this is the abstraction of the concepts at the earlier stage before we go into our study later on, right? So we believe that the conceptualize, we can link these concepts, information security management and organizational agility, that we can establish the relationships in making sure that they are part of IT and organizational agility. Information security will also play important roles in this kind of relationship as well. So this is the abstraction of the concepts. We understand understand that information security management is about keeping the information secure throughout the entire information systems, right? So in this case, the information security is about protecting the information and information system from unauthorized access, use, disclosure, modifications, and so on, right? So in this case, information security management is actually a programs that can be designed in organization that is going to help organization to prevent to protect the entire interconnected environment from weaknesses coming from information systems, the vulnerabilities of the information systems, and then the attacks from hackers, from external threats, from internal threats, and also any other unwanted incidents within the organization. And how are we going to ensure the success of the program is by achieving or by implementing a set of suitable controls. And these controls can be found in many information security standards. For example, from ISO 27001, from COBIT, from NIST, from ITIL, and so many more. Right? So we believe that if organizations are applying this kind of standards as part of the practices within the organization, and then they are able to protect their information assets, which is a strategic resources, as I mentioned earlier, and then by protecting this asset, using organizations can ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the data and information for their strategic use. And at the end of the day, they are able to become agile, because they are able to make a very fast decision making, rapid decision making, and then they can have, the amount of data information which is required for them to produce a practical decision making for their business. Right? So this is the abstraction of idea. And then we zoom a little bit deeper by understanding agility in the context of Malaysia. Right? Before we conduct our study, we try to understand the organizational agility within the Malaysian context. And we found several reports that I'm just highlighting a few. This is talking about how digital technology is widely adopted in Malaysian business settings, right? And then this implies, the wider adoptions of technology, digital technology in Malaysia implies that the importance of agility in their business setting, because they wanted to compete, they wanted to sustain their competitions, sustain their survival in this kind of business settings and so on, right? So we also found that 70% of all IT spending in Malaysia will be on computing platforms technologies up until 2023, right? And then 50% of all the enterprise is building their digital native IT environments. And then this is supported by the government of Malaysia to make sure that this enterprise or organizations and so on can thrive in the digital economy, right? So this is almost 5 billion investments given by the, not given, but is allocated by the government of Malaysia to ensure this is to happen, right? And more importantly, millions of devices, computer devices will be connected to this kind of digital ecosystems that eventually will encourage the pervasive use of ICT in all aspects of the Malaysian economy, right? So digital, as what Sambamurti said in 2013, in 2003, and now we can see that, the more advanced it is, people are now using computer systems, pervasively within the business context as well. Right. So at the same time, we also try to look at the data from the Cybersecurity Malaysia from MyCert incidents or statistics. Right? And then we found that in 2019 alone, there are 10,722 cybersecurity attacks reported in Malaysia. Right? And then this trend is exactly suggesting that cyber threats are also growing in such ecosystems. We are talking about pervasive use of IT system in business and so on, but at the same time, we can see also the growing of the incidents, cybersecurity incidents happening throughout the entire nations, throughout the nations. And then I think because of this, we believe that to support this ecosystem, organization must improve their defense and strengthen their security as well, right? And then this is actually a part of the competitive marketplace because, upward trends of cyber threats require more views of information security to be embedded within the systems. Right? So you can go to the website to look at this data as well. And then for that reason, we have conducted one study entitled The Impact of the Information Security Management Practices on Organizational Agility in Malaysia Business IT Organization. Right? So I'm going to go very brief on this. I'm going to just highlight a few things. The purpose is to determine the extent to which information security management practices impact the organizational agility by statistically examine the relationships between both concepts. And then we use a quantitative method, research design. And then we conducted this throughout Malaysia with total of 250 organizations. Valid question as obtained from the respondents at the firm level. And then we use a structured equation modeling using PLS to analyze the data, and also we have developed 9 hypotheses and then test all these hypotheses in this SAM PLS software, right? And then the finding is that the validation of the structure model of 9 hypotheses that we developed for the study demonstrated a satisfactory results. Exhibit 6 significant direct relationships and 3 insignificant relationships. So we are going to discuss about it on the next section. So this is a research objective. The first 2 is about a perceived level. This is a very descriptive. And then the third one is an inferential kind of statistic, because we want to examine whether the information security management practice really contributes or significantly contributes towards organizational agility in the context of these settings, right? And then we have also theoretically developed the framework based on several grand theory. One is using a social technical systems, social cognitive theory, and also integrated systems theory. And finally, we use a resource-based view to also become a part of measurement of the organizational agility as well, right? So why do we use this kind of theory as underpinning theory for information security management especially is because there are no solid theories for the locus of knowledge in information security alone, right? So this is not because information security is uninteresting, but information security has been given less attention for the past 2 decades. People are more likely to rely on technology as a part of the information security, but not on the administrative and not on the physical security as well, right? So less attention, but only a few practitioners or practice-based research has been conducted as well, right? So lack of literatures means that lack of empirical studies has been done, and I think, and we think that it is a good opportunity for us actually to, empirically conduct this kind of research to add to the body of knowledge of the information security itself, by producing a new model that can contribute to the information security communities at the same time. Right, so this is just a conceptual concepts, the concepts of the construct that we use for the measurement of organizational agility and information security management. So for organizational agility, we found that most of research has adapted customer agility as part of the measurement, partnering agility as part of the measurement as well, and operational agility. This is 3 dimensions that always being used by people who have studied the relationship between information technology and also organizational agility. While for information security management, we have found that 3 factors are very common to be used by researchers and practitioners as well, which is mapped into administrative security, technical security, and physical and environmental security. So this is more likely to derive from the development of a priority set of objective and suggested by literatures, standards, and also reports found in academia and also industrial practices. All right, so this is just a construct that I will not go through all of the statement. I'm just highlighting a few important root words that can trigger the ideas of what the construct is about. So one is operational agility, is the ability to effectively process information that at the end of the day will allow the sensing and responding of the market that add to the identifications of opportunity and put that opportunities into actions, right? And then while customer agility is about understanding the customer preferences and needs, and then this is by having the ability to capture market intelligence related to the customer and also to react upon data or information that they gathered from this related to this customer. And finally, the partnering agility, which is the ability to leverage business partner knowledge by implement partner knowledge to implement new business and opportunities by having a very tight firm inter-firm collaboration that allows partners, that allows organization to use information or timeliest information in the supply chain and use that kind of information for opportunities and as well. And then for information security management construct, there are three, as I said before. One is administrative security. This is more likely to deal with the procedural controls, rules and regulations that is embedded within the day-to-day operations. Right? So this is more likely on the to emphasize on the information governance of the organizations. Right? So this is covered areas such as the policies, assignments of information security responsibilities, access, software and inventory, right? Compliance, law, regulations, and so on. So this is some so many that related to the governance of the information and information systems within the organization. And then the second construct is on technical security, and this is more likely to use technology as a logical control, right? This is by using a mechanism like password management controls, access controls, operating systems, application software programs to be used, protocols, firewalls, intrusion. This is all technical kind of research that always receive attention by researchers. And then finally, physical environmental security, which is refer to the measures taken to protect systems, buildings and related supporting infrastructures, right? So this is, for example, how organization must protect the physical environment that to ensure that the sensitive and critical information and information processing facilities are safeguarded from intruders and also from internal threats as well. So for that, we have developed one research framework, right? So consists of 6 main variables as a construct that we have I have mentioned before, and then we have developed 9 hypotheses to establish relationships between every variables, right? So I have 1 to 3 is to test the relationships between administrative security with organizational agility, customer agility and also partnering agility, while 4 to 6 is about technical security on organizational agility, operational agility, customer agility and partnering agility, and 7 to 9 is to establish the relationship between physical and environmental security with operational agility, customer agility, and partnering agility as well. All right, so we have used SAM, PLS version 3, right? So we have used PLS, and for that reason, we have to, in order for us to come up with the finding, we have to go by understanding or by producing the output for the measurement model and structure model. But for this today discussion, I'm going to only highlight the structure model because we wanted to, I just wanted to highlight the significant relationships between information security management and also organizational agility. Right. So based on the analysis and findings, we have found that 6 relationships are supported, and then 3 are not supported. Right? So finding from this study indicates that operational agility is significantly related to information security management practice in these settings. And then 9 hypotheses developed has demonstrated satisfactory results, and then 3 is insignificant. Right? So we can see that administrative security and technical security does actually positively influence organizational agility, while physical and environmental security does not, right? So there are reasons to be discussed after this. So why? First is the relationships between administrative security and also operational agility, customer agility and partnering agility. Right? The finding has confirmed that there are strong relationship exists between administrative security and all types of organizational agility. Right? So this is actually the first empirical evidence established pertaining to the relationship of both construct in the context of Malaysia. Right? And then this is because I think the finding is because we believe that administrative security really strengthened the security posture of the MSC status company, right? So as administrative security is related to the intensification of information governance activities, and then these organizations can control their business information, can safeguard their business information, and at the end of the day, enable them to have a greater analysis, especially for the strategic business purposes as well, right? So this is also in line with the previous studies that suggested that information security governance, policies, procedures is going to become factors that can foster efficiencies and greater responsiveness to the business as well. And the second relationship between technical security and other types of organizational agility also establish empirically the evidence that there are relationships happening between both concepts, right? This is apparent that technical measures being used by organization can manage risk more effectively by addressing vulnerabilities to the enhancements of technical security framework, I think, which is very common to contemporary business organization nowadays, right? So that this allow organization to become resilient against threats, whether it is internal threats or from external threats, hackers and so on, right? And then from the agility perspective, we think that TS or technical security increases agility because it allows organization to detect and respond to potential cyber threats such as intrusions, malware, virus, hacktivism, and also other things that could disrupt the organization's business, computing environment, and also their business infrastructures, right? This kind of mechanism is very important because technology can help to safeguard organization from unexpected incidents that are related to cyber security, information security as well. And then finally, the insignificant relationship between physical environmental security and also all types of agility, right? So this is something that is surprising because we did not expect that. The first place we did not expect, but I think it happens that it found to be insignificant. And then I think there are several possible reasons for this non-significant relationship. One is that because agility is likely to materialize when strategic information can be accessed and manipulated, whenever and also wherever required. But however, by putting some agility, then it is actually discouraged. By putting some not agility, but tighter security in that context has discouraged agility, right? So in this case, the demands for agility and a tighter security in the place are conflicting, right? So it cannot be. The physical environment, such as processing facilities and so on, cannot be highly secured because that it is actually against the context of agility, the flexibles and so on, right? And then this study views that excessive security has become issues for agility, right? So found that many MSC status companies, we have found that many MSC status companies experience imbalance between access and physical security that eventually restricts agility. And this is because many of these organizations have moved into cloud solution, for example, so that the processing facilities and so on is not really concerns to them, right? Because the critical informations are more being given to the third party to be handled and so on, with the security procedural as well, right? So in other words, we can say that in MSC status company, there are not many organizations that have information processing facilities available there. And most of the times they outsource to the third party to handle this kind of process as well. All right, so this is the research implication, right? So we think that by conducting this study, we have able to establish empirical based framework, all right? And then we also think that we have strengthened the theories of framework that we have adopted previously. And then also theoretically, we have able to confirm the validity of the information security practices and organizational agility as first conceptual, but now we can empirically validate that, right? So using SAM approach as well. And then in methodological point of view, we have developed the instrument, and then I think we can use this kind of instrument to be generalized into other setting as well. And we can replicate this in a different research setting which is focusing on the performance improvement of the organization, be it in terms of information security and also the organizational agility as well. And finally, practically, we things that we have contributed to the knowledge that is useful for policymakers, especially when they are trying to provide some guideline of how information security management and organizational agility can be linked together within the settings, right? And then authorities can harness new knowledge from this study and can create effective policies, regulations, and laws and so on, in order for the nations to start to thrive in this kind of new technology, new economy, such as digital economy and so on. Right, and then I think we have come to the end of the presentation. Right, so this is a conclusion. I think that we have identified. This study has identified that information security management practices are critical to organizations' agility, and then it is empirically verified with this statistical model that we have developed. All right, and then since IT trends are now converging and could boost the importance of agility in future business, then agility will progress new level as technology to continue to evolve, right? So there must be a security technology as well being introduced in order for agility to progress with organizations nowadays. And then the technology is only a piece of complex puzzle. Other relevant aspects might also play important roles, right? And then finally, the future research should look on how empowerment of culture and integration of emerging security technology could improve the organizational level. And then that at the end of the day can drive organizations to formalize and to coordinate mechanisms that finally allows organization to become highly agile organization. And not to forget the insignificant relationships also can be studied, why there is insignificant relationship happening in terms of the context of the organizational agility as well. Right. So for that, I think I will stop my presentation. I hope that things that I've discussed here will benefit the audience as well. All right. So I'll pass back to Encik Amin, the moderator for today's sessions. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Muhammad Khairulnizam. Okay, it's a wonderful session. And I will now open the session for questions and answer. If you do have any questions, feel free to ask Dr. Muhammad Khairulnizam, or you can also alternatively type in the chat section any questions that with regards to the presentation topic just now. Okay, I'm now open the session. Is there any question from the floor? Anyone? You can turn on your mic if you want to ask questions.
Yeah, sure.
So at the moment we have a maximum numbers of participants in this Google Meet. Okay, I do not know how many of you from the live streaming. Okay, but feel free to ask. Okay, if you have any questions, you can ask our speaker, Dr. Khairulnizam, now.
Yes, you can also email me if you have any further questions. If you don't want to ask now, yeah, at any time. You can also access to the main articles, and this is available in our easy access database in your ITM. You can directly go to the Emerald database, and you can find the articles in that database. Yeah.
All right. Okay. If there is no questions, okay, again, for all participants, please click the links, okay, that we have give you for this link is meant for e-certificate, okay. All the participants, you will get your e-certificate, okay. And it will also be recorded as for UITM staff, okay. It is also recorded as UITM training hours, right? We are still waiting if there is any questions.
Okay, hello.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Firdaus, please
Yes,
ask.
okay. Assalamualaikum. Thank you, Encik Yamin. And
Yeah.
then, thank you, Encik Dr. Muhammad Khairulnizam. I think your presentation is very informative. So I like your presentation and I gained a lot of information. So I just have one question lah. Okay, yeah, just to want to know your opinions. So how organizations can protect their infrastructure in terms of their their policies, their peoples, and then the data from the threats, unknown threats, or from the known threats that you know that currently in the technologies world, every day threats will evolve from different kind of methods, from the boots, and then from they're using the ransomware. Now the threats can be stolen, your credentials, stuffing, and so on. So, what is your opinions in for the organization? Because I'm not coming from the academician background. I'm coming from the industry. So, I just want to know what is your opinions for the organization that want to protect their infrastructure in terms of the securities perspective. Okay, thank you.
Yes. Mr. Firdaus Adini. I think Mr. Firdaus is from Mimos, eh? Or if
Uh,
I'm not mistaken, is from Jaring or Mimos, eh?
yeah, last time
Yeah.
pula.
All right. Okay. Now you have changed to other companies, eh?
Yeah.
Mr. Firdaus, as I have mentioned earlier, the enforcement of the information security must be done by embedding or by incorporating practices, right?
Okay.
We can apply information security management standards into our business practice, into our business routines that will help. And then only by implementing this kind of standards or this kind of practices, it will allow organization to, develop one strong culture, which is an information security culture. So that, for example, if you go with this kind of policy,
Mm-hmm.
allowing organization to use vulnerable software, for example, the pirated software in your organization, that will eventually allows, or that will eventually open up some vulnerabilities for ransomware and so on. I think if you enforce the policy, then you are going to enforce policy, you are going to enhance the culture so that people are not uh, uh, not really going to do that, because there are policies in house, there are policy in place, that will restrict this kind of actions, this kind of opening the vulnerabilities to the own organization. I hope I'm answering you.
Yeah, yes, definitely. Because
Yeah,
I think for the organization, the policy, the peoples, and the technology or infrastructure is must be ready to cope with the current threats.
yeah,
It's my opinion lah. Alright, I
that's
think
true,
yep,
that's true. Yeah, right, very good.
Thank you, Mr. Firdaus.
yep.
Is
Thank
there
you.
any other questions? Is there any other questions?
For me, I know I have no questions. So maybe the rest of the floor they have a question. I don't know. Maybe can ask them. So for me, thank you, Mr. Carol, for
Yeah,
Dr. Carol again. Thank you
all
for
right.
your answer. Thank
Thank you, my friend.
you.
Okay, so I think kita pun dah dekat pukul 4 moderator.
Yeah. Okay, it's almost 4 now. If there is no question, okay, is there any other last word from you, Dr. Khairul?
Tak ada, just I think I just wanted to highlight those people who are into this kind of domain, the information security domain. I think if you find in Malaysia, there are lack of research has been done, as I said, in Malaysia, that is looking at the information security, right? There are few on the cultures, there are few on the practices, but there are not many really looking into the information security in terms of technology for people to get ready with this kind of a digital business in a digital economy and so on, right? So security technologies such as financial tax, blockchain, such as security analytics, and then security operation controls and so on must be started now, right? So that we can build more knowledge about information security in the context of Malaysia, right? And this is in fact has been highlighted by and ministries as well, that we are lack of the security professionals in the nation, right? So I think if people started to academicians or practitioners started to go more on the information security research, then I think we can become a very a powerful nations in terms of having a digital economies in place and so on. Yeah, I think that's my suggestions to those who are maybe interested in conducting this kind of research in information security. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Carol. So with that, I think we have come to the end of the session of this webinar. So as a conclusion, the Faculty of Information Management, as an organizer, we would like to thank all participants, be it from UITM, okay, or outside UITM. Thanks for participating in this webinar. And we would also like to thank the Dean, okay, and the management team of Faculty of Information Management for supporting this webinar. And most importantly, we would like to thank, okay, our speaker today, Dr. Muhammad Khairulnizam Zaini, for the informative and I think a very fruitful sharing session. May this session benefit us all in all area of works or studies. With that, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Congratulations, Dr. Carol.
Yeah, Prof. Thank you, Prof.
And Cik Yamin, thank you very much.
Yeah, see you again, Prof.
Yeah, see you inshallah.
Inshallah.
Okay, man.
Okay.
Right. Dah gelap
Huh?
Boleh soal ke?
Time's up.
Okay.
Dah habis baru nak soal.
PM.
PM aja PM.
Okay, congratulations.
Link is not working.
Link is not working tu. Minta Puan Ju tengok macam mana. Ramai yang tak dapat nak register.
Okay. Mungkin saya rasa kena ni kot. Apa tu, nanti kena masuk semula. Takut dia jam ke. Tadi saya buat okey je.
Tadi saya buat pun
inform
okey je,
kot.
Cik Amin.